Hi, I'm Kevin and welcome to Ask a Stoic. Today's question comes from Pratik in Auckland, New Zealand. Pratik asks, how do we deal with a world which is unfair, people who are cruel, and what does Stoicism have to offer for that? I have three pieces of advice. Your question was a bit detailed and went into some detail that I'm going to leave out of the video, but I have three things that I think could possibly help you in your situation. One of which is if things are particularly difficult, it's entirely reasonable to seek the advice of a counselor. So it might be a religious person or a licensed trained person. Cognitive behavioral therapy is inspired by Stoicism, so if your interest is there, you might find a licensed CBT practitioner in your area that can help with some training things to affect your thinking in your environment. So that's the one. Taking advice and asking for help is entirely reasonable and is okay. The other two are specifically within core Stoicism. So Marcus Aurelius begins his day by laying out that he's going to meet with ungrateful people, with people who are mean, who are belligerent, who are ambitious and climbing and will tear other people down to get up, that he's going to deal with all of the vices of humanity. And the reason he has to deal with that is because at the core, people misunderstand what is good and what is evil. And they think that things which are external to us, which cannot contribute to our virtue and our well-being, are good. And so since they believe that to be their good, it's entirely reasonable that they chase after it. Now, when someone is so misguided, it's a consequence that there will be fallout, that they'll behave poorly, that there will be ethical and moral implications. And Marcus doesn't say this as a way to sort of look down upon them. He says that, we're here to work together, that we're like bees or the opposite rows of teeth or the thumb in the fingers, that we work together and separately we're less useful than we are when in conjunction and cooperation. So this reminder is so that he keeps his mind in the appropriate frame for dealing with these, and he realizes that their kinship of reason is still there, even if they're behaving poorly. So what he needs to do is adjust his thinking. And that's the core message of what we're talking about here. We need to adjust our thinking. So the one, we prepare ourselves to meet with adversity, which is the premeditatio malorum, so that meditation on adversity, to prepare ourselves for what we're going to find, just like Marcus does in the morning. The other thing is a part of your question that I'm going to nitpick a little bit. And it asked what we do when the world is unfair, never was, and never will be. What does it mean to be fair? Well, we can define it a couple of ways. If you ask a child, and one of them has a small cookie and the other has a big cookie, the child with the small cookie wants the big one. And if you say no, what he's going to say is that's not fair. But what he means is it's not best for me. But it's not really in a more advanced way of looking at fair. So fair might be we each have enough, or we each have what we deserve. Maybe one of them worked more than the other, or is a baker and produced it, or a whole slew of things. So we can either define fair as what's best for me or what I deserve, or we might take an even wider cosmic approach. So for the theistically inclined, we might say, what is fair to God? What is fair to the universe? For the atheistically inclined, we might say, what is the actual state of things, and what is my place in it? What is my role in this cosmos, in this large place? So what is fair? Humans deem certain things good and bad, but God or the universe or fate doesn't deem it so. The laws of physics don't make those determinations. What seems fair to this one might seem unfair to this one, but God is going to see that as neither way, or the universe or fate, or however you want to describe nature, providence. So when we say it's not fair, it actually is fair, because we're all subjected to the same rules. We're all these embodied, incorporated beings. We're all here for a limited time. We have to make do as best we can. We are formed by nature to bear certain things, and we will bear them. A great thought model for how to deal with situations that are unfair is to think about the unending chain of causes that have brought you here. We can think about it actually from the very first atom to explode out of the Big Bang. As the universe hurls itself apart and matter contains, every single chain had to arrive in exactly the way it did to provide you with this situation right now. And what is that situation? It's the ability to act with virtue, to meet it with courage, fortitude, equanimity. So every single thing in the entire cosmos has been designed, and it has put you right here to handle this event. This is your test today. And there'll be 10,000 of these today, and 10,000 more tomorrow, and on and on and on. The universe has been designed perfectly to present you with the opportunity to do well. That is a pretty heady and humbling thought. Not everyone accepts this view of fate, but it is one of the classic Stoic versions of fate, that we are here to be tested by this instance. So instead of viewing the world as unfair, you're just playing it on a harder level, right? You're not playing it at novice or easy. You're doing it here. The whole universe has been set up to give you this opportunity to express virtue, excellence in your life. So meet it as best you can, and that's all that's required. I hope that helps. If you have your own questions, remember you can submit them at mountainstoic.wordpress.com. Click on Ask a Stoic on the left, use the form to submit your questions, or leave them in the comments below. Thanks, and fate permitting, see you next time.